right now. So this is why these people are rebelling, because the best of life is gone completely. Their children are out there for the slaughter. You know, we over here, but you know, if things keep going with these austerity measures, you know, I hate to have the elitists add more children to their fund. That'll just be more they can put in their prostitution rings, right? They love stuff like that. And so, the reason for this, I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about this, is that back in the olden days, when you had emperors, you know, what was one of their favorite things to do? It was to acquire a lot of concubines, a lot of women, a lot of children, you know, for their sexual favor. And so these were people that ruled other people, nice to some of the people, made sure that the rich people were taken care of so they can help keep the other people in line. As long as we can take the poor kids and do what we want to with them. Do you think just because that happened back then that those people lost that attitude? That it doesn't exist anymore? Just because it's not going on behind your closed door? The attitudes don't change with people, just like governments don't change, unless we change it and do something about it. Let me see here. Homeless people died 30 years before the average person. And that's a recent study here. Most homeless people die around age 43 when the average age of America is 77. So those people who once had jobs, don't have them anymore, worked all their lives, had their money stolen from them. You know, who cares if they're out there struggling just to die in 43 years, a miserable, horrible death. You know. American Civil Liberties Union said the National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA, on December the 31st was signed by the black savior president. I can say that because I'm a black man. The black Jesus himself, or Barack Obama. Codifying the indefinite military detention without charge or trial for the first time in history. Anybody. They could come in here right now and lock all of us up. What then we can do about it? Just hope that, you know, we might get something to eat while we're locked up. That's about it. And then the Attorney General Holder defends execution without charges. Now, mind you, these are headlines that I'm reading, you know, going on right now. Oh, it's good, you know, that we can kill people. You know, I defend that. Wow, that's great, you know. America's most dangerous gang. Who do you think that is? The police. Preventing, let me see, I think I missed the page here. Let's go back. I think I missed that one. Give me a second here. Yeah. Police are twice as likely to sexually assault you and 5 times as likely to murder you. It's true, according to the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting Statistics between January 2010 and September 2010. 31 cops out of 100,000 committed homicide, and 73 committed sexual assault, and compromised to 100,000 of the general population. This includes blacks, whites, Mexican gang members, etc. The vilest of vile. Only 5 citizens committed homicide, and 29 committed sexual assaults. So by far, the most dangerous people in America are the ones that we pay good money to protect and serve. You know, it's just recently a woman, you know, called, and the police sent, you know, said, "Miss, you know, I know you having problems. Somebody broke in our house. Can you send your boyfriend out to talk to the other officers so we can split the stories up?" While he was out there, he raped her. She came back in and was upset. It took her 3 years to get justice for that, and harassed the whole time by the police force. Let's see. sure I got all the headlines for y'all. I don't want to shortchange you here. So these are the realities that we're dealing with. A great Arab philosopher once said, reality and appearance are always two different things. So it's time for us to lift the veil to realize that we're slaves at the bottom of the pyramid, which is on every dollar. You know, it has meaning to it. You know, they can't control everybody else unless they have enough of the rich people in cahoots with them to do that. And so that's the way it works. It's a trickle-down effect, and it's a like George Carlin said, you know, it's a private club and you ain't in it, right? Now, one thing about me is that I study history, and Thomas Jefferson, he's an interesting character. Him being a colonialist and a slave owner, I don't think it would be feasible that I should have something in common with him, but I do. You know, I kind of like him, even though he had that going for him. But I kind of look at the age that he was in, and he did treat his slaves better than most. But he really did have some profound thoughts when it came to government. And so I'm going to read a few of his quotes here. This is by Thomas Jefferson. The strongest reason for the people to retain the right to keep and bear arms is a last resort to protect themselves against tyranny in government. Was the government to prescribe to us our medicine and diet, our bodies would be in such keeping as our souls are now. I would rather be exposed to the inconveniences attending too much liberty than those attending too small a degree of it. The beauty of the Second Amendment is that it will not be needed until they try to take it away from us. The policy of the American government is to leave their citizens free, neither restraining nor aiding them in their pursuits. That's the kind of government we got right now. I think myself that we have more machinery of government than it is necessary. Too many parasites living on the labor of the industrious. And he said that back in the day, so it's 100-fold that right now. When the people fear their government, there is tyranny. When the government fears the people, there is liberty. I am not a friend to a very energetic government. It is always oppressive. And he has some other interesting quotes, but for the sake of time, I'm going to leave those and move on here. So the job of the government, you know what the job of the government is, what we pay them for? The job of the government is to make laws and then to provide a force that applies those laws. That's all they do. That's what government is. That's it. And of course, it's very powerful because they have, you know, the police in their pocket and they have the army in their pocket. But we have to work on that and see if we can change it. The only thing that's made a difference in people's lives is technology. You know, the toothbrush, the shoes that you got on, you know, the phone that you use. It's only inventions by technology that makes our lives better. Not people say, okay, they invented that, but you can't use it unless we say you can use it. That's the difference between government and technology. If a technology builds something, you know, I invent things too. If I say, well, you can only use it a certain time, or you can't use it, or you're not qualified, or what's the difference? You know, so our technology is being limited in order for us to be maintained as slaves, because we can't have people with too much freedom, right? And then, of course, if we do allow you to have some kind of luxury, we're going to make you pay all your money for it, because once you run out of that money, you got to come back to us to get more, right? There's been only one president in history that even thought about doing something technologically to have a patent. Anybody know who that president was?